Hi, Miles. I'm Michaela from the Nocturnal. Nice to meet you.
How you doing, Mikhail? It's nice to meet you. It's nice to meet you.
All right, so I know that you're from Atlanta. Tell us a little bit about, where you actually are from in Atlanta and how did it feel growing up there?
Yeah, I'm from Atlanta. I'm specifically from East Atlanta, East Lake area, and I think a lot of people hear East Atlanta, it has that reputation. But honestly, I grew up really safe. Um, I came from like a two-parent household and things of that nature. I was not out there doing what you associate with East Atlanta, but it's cool living here. I get a little bit of every different part, but I'm also in my own little bubble enough to where it's like if I go to other parts of the land, like it's like okay, I'm in another world and it's cool. It's cool. Like, yeah,
I love that. So you're versatile. You could be anywhere.
yeah, I could be anywhere. Could
So
be.
let's lean into the two-parent household. I saw you smiling when you said that. How is it growing up the way that you did with the two-parent household and just like feeling happy about that? Because I saw you smiling.
Yeah. I came from a two-parent household. Um, it's something I'm lucky to have. I think that what I'm grateful to for my parents is they pushed me in a lot of different ways. Like
Yeah.
I've always been into music, you know what I'm saying? Hence why we're speaking today, but they also really encouraged me to push towards school and doing both. I feel like Troy Bolton sometimes, but it's yeah, but it's cool. And
Yeah.
now I just have a lot of different good things to worry about in both things.
Wait, so you're doing school and music?
Yeah.
I
I'm
love this. I love this. So it's kind of giving me Meg the Stallion vibes right now. The career, I feel like it's looking bright.
yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Of course. So coming from, a place like Atlanta, there's so many legendary musicians out there. Who from there has inspired you in your career and your music?
Man, first off, from there I'd say Outcast.
Yes.
When I was like coming up, getting my own taste in music, Jid was a huge part of that. Jid, Mariba, Earth Gang. I loved that whole wave. More recently, I've been listening to like Mariah the Scientist and you
I
know,
love her.
yeah, I love it. It makes me sad sometimes. Like that's it's great music, but I want to cry.
I mean, sometimes there's some beauty in sadness, and
Yeah.
sometimes we kind of need that to feel refilled when we're happy to feel that feeling. You know what I mean?
No,
But when I first heard,
sad music is A1. Sad music.
yeah, there's a moment for that.
Yeah.
When I first heard your music, though, it's funny that you said Outcast at first, because that I thought of Outcast once I saw, your style, your music, everything. I'm like, yeah, this is given full Outcast. So I could see that being one of your big inspirations.
Yeah, I was really I'm inspired by Outkast. I'm inspired by that wave that came around like mid to late 2010s. Like I'm probably the biggest Tyler fan ever. The biggest like
I
rock.
could see that.
Yeah, I was a huge fan of them. Oh my God. We just talked about Atlanta music and I didn't mention Suave or Kenny Mason, who I love. I love those two. They're great from the area.
I could see the smile on your face tells it all. So I would say to me, for those of you who are watching and are new to Miles, to me, his music is just so new. It's refreshing. It's also kind of feels like classic in a way too, and very electric. What really kind of like got you to start that type of music? Because it is new. It's like it's a new, refreshing style of music.
I think I think I'm like a sponge for the things that I like.
Yeah.
When it comes to mixing in that old school style, I'm a huge Stevie Wonder fan.
Ooh.
Like I was playing the keys
So
and
the household was good. That's why the two-parent household comes back. The music was in the house.
yeah, yeah. My mom every time I do something with me, she's like, I was Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz. Because she like a fifth grade play and she was Dorothy. And that's where I got all my musical talent from. Yeah,
I love that. So it really started from the parents.
yeah.
Shout out to mom and dad. Love that for you. So speaking, of music, I know that you have a new single coming out. very, very, very soon called Oxygen. Let's talk about it. The name is amazing. It's really cool. We all need it to breathe.
That's so yeah.
But tell us a little bit about this single, or a lot of it.
Yeah, Oxygen, I would say Oxygen is kind of the story of taking out the things that you don't need in your life and bringing in the new things. Breathe in, breathe out, you know,
Yep.
respiratory type thing going on. But yeah, Oxygen is kind of also a story about moving. It's like the way air flows, it goes everywhere. It's moving from place to place, but also just from life situation to life situation. I'm 18, so I'm not gonna be here my whole, I've been here a long time. I'm going to be out in a while. So it's a song about that transition.
So when you say you've been here, do you mean Atlanta or you mean like home? What do you mean?
I mean, parts of both. I've lived in Atlanta my whole life, but I've been at this home for a good like 7, 8 years. I spent
Yeah.
my formative years in this house. Yeah.
So you're ready to go. Where would you go if you had a place right now, where would you be?
Ah, that's a difficult question. I mean, I've been a couple places. Everywhere is great. I've been to New York. I've been to Los Angeles a few times. Um, I don't know. I'll come back to you with an answer to that. I'm not sure yet.
I feel like I could see you hybrid between, Atlanta, your roots, because the music there is so vivid, just like you are. There's a lot going on from the outcasts to the futures of the world. But then I could definitely see you in New York. Like, you just seem like such a cool person, and all the cool people in New York, not just because I live here. But I could definitely see you in New York, but I could also see you in LA too, because that's a whole different vibe, you
Yeah,
know?
what I noticed going from place to place was they're not like New York and LA obviously aren't like Atlanta at all. But
Yeah.
yeah, because Atlanta's definitely a big city, but New York is like Atlanta, but compact and just like
Yeah.
you can see a little bit of everything. And LA is like Atlanta, but just spread out. Like there's so many different little pockets. Atlanta is a cool small town city, but it's my city and I love it.
I love that you love it. I actually love Georgia as a whole. My brother lives in Douglasville, which
Oh,
is like probably about an hour away from Atlanta, but it's cool. It's like a
I like how you said Georgia and not Atlanta. That's not Atlanta.
yeah, it's not Atlanta at all. So anyone who's watching, I'm like, Atlanta, Douglasville is not there.
I don't be out in Douglasville, like, oh, I go to the supermarket. Guess it's time to go to Douglasville. No, what we doing? But Douglasville's great. Shout out everyone from Douglasville.
Shout out to the people all over Georgia and everywhere else that you might just move to,
Yeah.
especially with the music. So I feel like your personality is just so light. It feels so refreshing, just like your music. Would you say that you are fluid with your emotions while you're creating? Because your lyrics are so unique. And you give me like that vocal of like R&B, but then you bring in that electronic vibe. So like, would you say that when you're writing, you go in where today I want to feel like R&B, but tomorrow I feel a little bit funky. I want a little funk. How is your creative process like?
I think it's like when you have a plate at Thanksgiving, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got the yams, the mac and cheese, the greens, the stuffing. It's impossible to keep it from touching. I know there are people that like hate their food touching, but it's
Yeah.
impossible for your food not to touch. And I just feel like with my music, I'm gonna be all those things at the same time.
Yeah.
Like to focus it would take more effort than actually making the music that way. And
Mm.
yeah, most of the time when I'm making music, I just let it out, whatever it is. And that's depending on whatever I was listening to. That can be anything from like Horace Silver's jazz album in like 1990 to some Olivia Rodrigo to some,
Mm.
yeah, like little bits of everything, putting that into something like a little and making a smoothie out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to make a smoothie with music. Sound smoothie.
I think that's the quote of the day. You're making smoothie out of music because it's smooth music. You have just such a variety, but like I said, the vocals are giving R&B. So if anyone's watching right now loves R&B, definitely give your sound some music. But also, if it's not R&B, you got a little funk, you got a little electronic. I love it.
It's
It's very
important.
unique.
Blend it up.
So since you were a kid, you've been playing piano, which means, again, shout out to your parents because not every parent is, kind of putting their kids out there to pursue their dreams and say, I want to play piano and then actually get to do it. So that's a really cool opportunity. And do you feel like that's when you kind of felt inspired and in love with music when you
I've,
started playing piano?
I've always kind of been in love with music.
Yeah.
I feel like we're all in love with music, but I was at the piano. I would write little songs. I don't remember how they went. I would play the little chords and write the songs. And then over the course of like quarantine, I picked up the guitar, I picked up the bass,
Mhm.
the drums, and that was when I got the opportunity, all that time by myself. I
Yeah.
went I went into the cocoon and I'm not a butterfly yet, but I will be. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I think you're a butterfly. You know what? Butterflies to me are people that, they got their wings and decide to make a decision and go.
But this
And that's
isn't
what you're doing.
this isn't my final form. There-
No, it's not.
There's nothing, there's no butterflies don't evolve after. So I'm like, I'm not a butterfly, I'm an evolved caterpillar.
Ah,
Yeah.
evolve caterpillar. I love all these metaphors.
Yeah.
So you once said, right? I want to make my music for people like myself, people who have a lot going on, but work to mask it. So, do you feel like your music really helps express you as a person and kind of, help express other people's feelings as well? And when you're writing, is that what you're thinking of?
I hope so. I hope it's helping somebody. It definitely does help me because this is definitely my vehicle for expression, any kind of emotional expression. It's definitely that vehicle for me. I know people have sports and people have other forms of art and people have other hobbies, but this is that for me. So it's a passion that I can take my whole day, my whole week, my whole month. I can put it in there. It can be like it's like a bottle. And I'm like, oh, now I have a bottle of my whole month and it's great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. So, a bottle of expressions.
Yeah.
So the next thing I have to ask you is like, I feel like all of your songs just have so much expression. Like you have a song, I want to be on your mind. Like, I wonder who you talk about when you say that. But then you also say the word.
Yeah.
What word are you speaking of? Or I'm purple when I'm with you. These are all just very expressive things and, sayings that you're saying to somebody out there. And maybe when they listen to your music, they're like, I know he's talking about me.
Have you ever heard it's like Drake. You know how Drake would write the song and every girl
Yes,
would about them? Yeah.
that's you.
Sure. I mean, I think it's all open to interpretation.
Oh,
So
for sure. That's art. You're an artist.
it's
Are
it's all,
you ever, as an artist though, like that is showing so much expression. Are you ever afraid to be too honest in your music?
I think hmm, I think there should be limits. You
Yeah.
can't go out here like, oh man, it was 11:52 on you know what I'm saying? Like at that point, you're just writing an autobiography. You'd be better writing a book than a song. But I think you shouldn't be afraid to be honest, like about
Mm.
how you feel. Yeah, feelings are
Never be afraid to be honest. We have a bottle of emotions. We're making smoothies out of music. I love this. All right, so let's talk about your style because even right now, this is a moment like this could be an album cover. It's giving. And, for me, when I look at your Instagram and just like a lot of like your music thumbnails, I kind of feel like you have a really, really cool style. Like you get it. It's giving Gen Z meets circa, 90s era. What inspired your style? And like, did you always know that, you were fashionable, or do you get a lot of compliments on that?
Um, I'd say confidence I'm getting on it is growing.
Mhm.
Like I think over the course, maybe the last 2 years, I've really worked to find my style.
Yes.
Um, I was definitely subconsciously influenced by like Tyler. Um, but I also wanted to put my own spin on it. I love like corduroy pants, stripes. I'm a sucker for stripes. If you put colors on top of each other in some interesting way, I'm gonna buy it. This is stripes right now. It's not, but I
Yeah.
love stripes. Someone's gonna have to get me out of that phase, but
No, why?
I
It's
don't
giving.
for now. But it's got to evolve at some point. But I love stripes. I love corduroy right now. I like um I like colored pants. I like color. I used to wear a lot of black and white, so now I feel like I'm overcompensating, but it's cool.
What's your favorite color right now?
Um, I'm always a huge fan of yellow, the color orange, and for a cool color, probably like purple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the colors. Yellow is happiness, so you're kind of sparking that. You gave me that energy when you first came in, and you said purple, which I see you have a guitar behind you that's also purple
Yeah.
right there. Super
All
dope.
my colors are on the wall. That's I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, you gave yellow and purple, but purple is royalty. You're giving for royalty, and you said that you're not a butterfly yet. You're evolving. So you're evolving as a royal, from a prince to a king, which I love that for you. All
I
right.
was about to go on like a Pokemon tangent. I love, yeah. Pokemon, that was my thing.
First of all, I heard that they're changing Pokemon recently, so that's kind of like sad.
Oh, how?
One of the characters, the main character, I think is either Pikachu or I forget, but they're removing them because Pokemon is actually still on. It's still on running show right now. Yeah,
I,
kind of sad.
I don't think it's sad. Things have to change at some point. I mean, if we have to miss, are they changing Ash?
No, they're not changing Ash. At least I'm not sure. I can't say, I cannot confirm nor deny, but it is changing. There's some characters that are going to be changing and just like not there anymore. So
That's, I think that's unfortunate, but I mean, you have to give space
yes.
for new things to go. Yeah, you have to.
All right, let's get back to the music. So, what's one thing, all right? One thing that you just want to make sure that everyone gets when they listen to your music. So, for me, when I heard your music for the first time, I'm like, wow, I kind of felt soulful. I kind of got the soulful vibe. I also got R&B, funk, but also kind of just like a new era of music, which I really love because music has to evolve. And you're talking about just evolving in general for yourself and with things in life. So when people listen to your music, what do you want them to get out of it?
I think, I think when people listen to my music, they should take away from it the fact that they should be exactly who they want to be at any given time in any given place, no matter who's
Mhm.
around. And if that person seems a bit out of reach, then they just have to work to be that person.
Yes. Work to be that person. So it's basically the tone that you set for this whole entire interview is always evolving.
Yeah, always evolving.
I love this for you. This is my last question. You ready for it? I
Okay,
know, it's so sad. It went by so fast, but you're doing so great.
I appreciate that. Appreciate that.
So as an upcoming artist as you are, like you're evolving, you're growing. Let's manifest a few things for you right now. I want you to manifest something for yourself. And it doesn't matter what it is, but where do you see yourself in 5 years? You talked about being a butterfly, and we're keeping this the last question on a very positive note. So let's manifest some good things.
I want, hmm, somehow, I want to find a way to document this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to find a way to look back at this and be like, man, this was just the beginning, and do something else that's crazy, but also find a way to bring it back to this.
Mm. Bring it back to this in an emotional aspect, because I think in the beginning stages, that's when we're the most hungry, right? So is that what you mean? And then bring it to the future when, you know, you blow up?
When I think in 5 years, what I want is to want things as much as I want
Mhm.
things now. You know what I mean?
To still be hungry,
Yeah.
because there's lots to eat on the food, on the plate. There's lots of food to eat on the plate. I love this for you. I think that, you know, your music is very unique. You have an amazing style of, you have the moment, like you're in that moment. And like you said, just keep that moment in that bottle. The bottle of music that you speak of, keep the moments in that bottle so that you can prevail and, you know,
Yeah,
achieve anything you want, because it's giving royalty.
I appreciate
I
that.
love that for you. All right, so everyone that's watching right now, make sure you follow MiLES. That's first of all, so you can stay tuned with everything that he has going on. And Oxygen is coming your way very soon. What's the date, MiLES?
Coming out February 15th, midnight EST, for the US, midnight everywhere else outside the US, elsewhere beyond.
All right, so make sure everyone tunes in for that. And like I said, follow MiLES. What's your @name, MiLES, on Instagram, on all platforms?
It's where is Miles underscore where is Miles, because people ask all the time, where is Miles? I get lost a lot.
Because you're listening to music, you're creating music, you're lost in the music. That's what it is. So where's MiLES? Where's MiLES? He's with the music. All right, so check out Oxygen February 15th, everyone. And it was such a pleasure meeting you. You're amazing. Your future looks bright, and keep the music funky.
I appreciate that.